For this lesson, you need to open the sample file Mortgage Calculator 3 from your Sample Files folder. I'm going to begin this lesson by arranging things so that you can see all of the rows in this sample file on screen. I'll begin by clicking the Ribbon Display Options button, and I'll click AutoHide Ribbon. Then I'll reduce the scaling to 75% by clicking View in the Zoom section, Zoom, and 75%. I can now see all of the rows on this worksheet. When working with forms, it's useful to separate the user interface from the input and result cells. The user interface is the part of the worksheet where the user enters values and views results. In this worksheet, the user interface comprises of cells B3 to D20. Calculations are done in a different section of the worksheet, where you define input cells and result cells. You'll recognize this method of working from the lessons in Session 7, What If Analysis. Later, you're going to hide the input cells and result cells from the user, so that the only interaction with the application is via the user interface. Now that we can see the big picture, let's zoom back again to 100% by clicking View tab on the ribbon, Zoom section 100%. Now let's connect some of those user interface cells with the corresponding input cells. First we'll have the property price. That's quite easy. I click in cell D24, equals on the keyboard, and click on the property price. And it's just as easy to add the arrangement fee. It's simply equals arrangement fee, enter. Now I need to add the annual income after tax. That's equals, click on the annual income after tax and press the enter key. The next three fields are going to be a little more challenging because the source data for deposit, term and interest are from the two group box controls and the combo box control in the user interface. So let's begin with the deposit. I'll right-click on any of the option buttons in the deposit group box and then click Format Control. And you can see there's a cell link box. I click in the cell link box and then I'll click in cell C25 and click OK. And you can see at the moment the value 1 is being returned from the group box. And that's because the leftmost option button has been selected. Let's try selecting the others. 10% returns 2, 15, 3, 20, 4, 25 is 5, and 30 is 6. Now if you find that on your control these are coming back in the wrong order, that's because you didn't add the option buttons in sequential order. So you'll have to move them around now and change the captions so that they are returning the numbers 1 to 6 in the correct order. I'm going to click back on 5% now and think about what I need to do to the number 1 to convert it to 5%. Well, I just need to multiply it by 5%. So I'll click in cell D5, type equals, click on the 1 and then multiply it by 5%. And of course that's bringing back the correct value for the 5% deposit, but let's test the others. 10%, that's worked. 15%'s good. 20, 25 and 30. So all of the option buttons are now bringing back the correct percentage in the input cells. Now let's do a very similar thing for the term. I'll right-click on any of the option buttons in the term group box, then Format Control, click in the cell link box, and this time click in cell C27. When I click OK, I'm currently bringing back the value 5, but I'll click on the 5-year option button to see the value 1. And as I advance through the years, 10 years should be 2, 15 is 3, 20 is 4, 25 is 5, and 30 is 6. Once again, if you don't see these numbers in the correct order, it's because you didn't add the option buttons in the correct order, and you'll now have to move them into their right places and change the captions appropriately. Now let's think about how I can calculate 5 years from the number 1. Well, I simply multiply it by 5. So I'll click in cell D27 equals, click on the 1, multiply it by 5, and I get 5 years. Let's test the other values now. 10 years, 15, 20, 25 and 30. All of the option buttons are working perfectly. Now let's move on to the combo box. If I click on the drop-down arrow to the right of the combo box, you can see that this contains interest rates beginning at 2% and increasing in increments of 0.5%. The first value in the combo box, 2%, will return the number 1. The second value will return the number 2, and so on. So let's link the cell to get things started. I right-click on the combo box, Format Control, and in the Cell Link box, this time I'll click on cell C28 and click OK. And let's test that this is working as expected. I'll click the drop-down arrow and 2% should bring back the number 1. Let's try. And it has. 2.5 should be 2, and 3% should be 3. And I'll revert to 2%. So I can see that every time the number increments by 1, the percentage increments by 0.5%. So in the actual value, I'll want the formula equals, then the value, multiplied by 0.5%. And this would work perfectly well if the values started at 0.5%. But they don't. They start at 2%. So I'll have to add 1.5% to all of the values to make them correct. So I'll type plus 1.5%, and then the first number 1 will bring back 1 times 0.5%, that's 0.5%, plus 1.5%, that's 2%, and that will be correct. The number 2 will bring back 2 times 0.5%, which is 1%, plus 1.5% is 2.5%. Also correct. So I'll press the Enter key and let's test the formula. I'll select 2.5%, that's worked fine, and another percentage at random, let's go for 5.5%. And I can see that that's working perfectly too. So you've now connected all of the input cells in the user interface with the input cells lower down the worksheet. And before closing this lesson, I'll just put the user interface back the way it was by clicking the Ribbon Display Options button and then Show Tabs and Commands. And all that remains for this lesson is to save your work, and I'm going to save with the new name Mortgage Calculator 4. And as usual, I'll save to the folder above my sample files folder. I click the Save button, and you've now completed Lesson 9.3. Set Form Control Cell Links.